Let's talk about Amazon S3 security. I know. It can feel like this huge maze of confusing policies and acronyms, right? But what if we just simplified it? What if we thought about it like we were building something really strong, really secure, like a fortress?
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? In a world where our data is basically treasure, locking it up tight is everything. So how do we actually go about building that vault?
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're not just going to talk about boring policies. Nope, we are going to build a data fortress piece by piece right here, right now. So let's get started and lay that first stone.
Okay, so before we start slinging mortar, we need a plan. What's the mission? Well, the core goal of our fortress is actually pretty simple. Only the right people and services get in, period. And the treasure inside, all our data, has to be protected 24/7, whether it's just sitting there or being moved around.
You know, any fortress worth its salt has multiple layers of defense, and ours is no different. Think about it. We're going to have gatekeepers, we'll have specific rules posted right on the gates, a massive drawbridge to keep the public out, a super secure vault for the treasure, and of course, a 24/7 watchtower. These are the 5 core layers we're about to build.
All right, first things first, let's talk about the main gates. Access control is our absolute first line of defense. We have to be super clear about who can even approach our fortress and exactly what they're allowed to do once they get there.
So here's how we're going to control those gates. Think of IAM policies like the general laws of your kingdom. They define what different types of people, say a knight or a merchant, can do across your entire AWS account. But a bucket policy, that's the specific list of rules nailed to the gate of this one fortress. It's way more specific. It might say something like, knights can enter, but only between sunrise and sunset. See, it can actually override the general law and add special conditions just for this one resource.
You know, back in the day, things were, well, they were a lot more chaotic. We used this thing called access control lists, or ACLs, and you had to manage permissions on every single little item inside the fortress. It worked, I guess, but man, it could get incredibly complicated really fast.
Thankfully, we've moved on to a much better system. The way to do it now, the best practice, is to just disable those old clunky ACLs and use that main bucket policy to control everything. It puts all your rules in one central place, which makes them way easier to manage and, more importantly, way easier to check for security holes.
Okay, our gates are under control. Awesome. But what about one of the most common ways security fails? Just leaving the drawbridge down for everyone to see. That brings us to our next critical layer of defense, making sure this thing isn't accidentally open to the public. This right here, this is our failsafe. The block public access setting is like a giant master switch for that drawbridge. You flip this on and I don't care if a gatekeeper makes a mistake or if a rule is written wrong, the drawbridge is up and the public is kept out. Honestly, for any organization with data they care about, this is an absolute non-negotiable.
So, the perimeter is secure. Now it's time to focus on the heart of our fortress, the vault itself. This is where we keep the treasure, right? Our actual data objects. Controlling who gets in is one thing, but protecting the data itself, that's a whole other critical mission.
So how do we build a vault that's basically unbreakable? The answer is encryption. It's the process of scrambling our data, turning it into complete gibberish for anyone who doesn't have the secret key. It is the ultimate protection for data when it's just sitting there. Now we've got 2 main options for the lock on our vault. With SSE S3, AWS handles the encryption keys for you. It's simple, it's effective, it just works. But if you're dealing with really sensitive or regulated data, you're going to want SSE KMS. Why? Because you manage the keys, and here's the kicker. You get a full audit trail through CloudTrail. That means you can prove exactly who touched the data and when, which, for things like compliance, is absolutely essential.
You know, a good vault has more than just a single lock. We can add more layers. We can turn on object versioning, which basically acts like a magic undo button if someone accidentally deletes something. We can even require multi-factor authentication, you know, that code from your phone, just to permanently delete anything. And for legal stuff or archives, Object Lock makes data completely unchangeable. I mean, literally, it cannot be modified or deleted for a period of time you set.
Okay, our fortress is built, the gates are controlled, the treasure is locked away tight, but we are not done. A fortress is only secure if you're actually watching it. We need a watchtower, and it needs to be staffed 24/7, monitoring everything that happens. And the logbook for our watchtower? That's AWS CloudTrail. It meticulously records every single important action. Who opened a file, who deleted an object, who even tried to change a policy. CloudTrail answers that critical question, who did what and when? It gives us total visibility into everything happening in our fortress.
But what if our watchtower could do more than just sit there and watch? What if it could react instantly to threats? That's where automation comes in. This is where our security goes from being passive to being active and responsive.
Let's just walk through how this works. Say some suspicious file gets uploaded. Bam! S3 immediately sends out an event notification. Think of it like a signal flare from the watchtower. That flare instantly triggers a Lambda function, which is like a pre-programmed emergency response. It could do anything, really. Scan the file for viruses, quarantine it, or, like you see here, instantly shoot an alert to the security team. It's an automated, immediate response system.
And that really brings us back to the big picture. This quote from the source material sums it up perfectly. It's not about any one single feature. It's about how all these pieces, the identity controls, the resource policies, the governance rules, all of them combine to create one powerful, comprehensive system to protect our data at scale.
So, as we finish up our tour of this fortress we've built, the final question is really for you. We've laid out the blueprint for a seriously powerful data fortress. So, how does yours stack up? Is it built with all these layers? Is it being monitored? Is it truly built to last?